In this module, I will show you how you can use the Composer to make a once-off map or to design and manage multiple map designs by means of templates. The first thing you need to do is to add your layers. So you have to open a few natural earth layers from the exercise data, and we are going to do some quick styling and labeling. Or alternatively, you can use a project from a previous worksheet to get the styles. Click on your country's layer. So this is the layer that I'm going to style first. Okay, I can use income group to style it. I will now navigate to the properties of the layer, change my symbol renderer to categorized, change the value to income group. Okay, let's see how that looks like. Okay, I mean, you can play around with different options and different colors. Now I'll just go ahead, proceed to the points layer, which is populated places. Let's use a white dot, change the size. Let me see how that looks like. Make it a little bit smaller. Okay, then now I'm just going to put some labels. Let's see how that looks like. Quickly zoom to my area of interest. Okay. And now I am going to change the style of the rivers layer. I mean, this is just basic styling, just to show you how to play around with your properties. Let's keep a blue color. Okay, I'm happy with the blue color. Alright, now that we've done all of that, we are going to set our CRS to the one specified on our exercise sheet. So you, on your right hand side, bottom right, click on that earth icon, takes you to the project coordinate reference system, and we are going to use the Studio Mercator EPSG 3857. So there it is. Click on it. All right. So now that we have done that, we are going to create a new print layout and give it a useful name. So we navigate to the layout icon, new print layout. For reference sake, we can just name it map 1. And then now we are going to look at the composition settings and change our page settings, play around with the properties. So in order for you to do that, you have to right click on the blank sheet, go to page properties. Here we have the size, orientation, width and height. You can also change the background of your page to standard colors, so it can be black, but for now we will leave it as white. Okay, and I would like to keep my sizes in A4 but change it to a portrait orientation. Right, now that we have done that, we are going to add a new map. So you can add a new map in two ways. Either you navigate to the add item menu at the top, as you can see there, you can add a map, second option from the top, or you can click on the add new map icon here on the left hand side of the map. And then now you have to draw in your map. Okay, and I would like to change the scale. So the smaller the scale, the bigger the map. Basic rules of cartography. Okay, so if you want to move your item content, you have to use the move item content tool. So I'd like to move my map. All right. Okay, now we are going to use the add north arrow button to add a north arrow to the composition, right? So again, you can either use the add item menu bar, add item menu to add your north arrow, or you can just use the add north arrow tool, which is on the left hand side, to draw in your north arrow. As you can see, there it is. Add north arrow, draw it in. The default setting is SVG image. You can add a raster image if you want to, but the default setting here on QGIS is an SVG image. So when you click on add a north arrow, it automatically takes you to the different SVG groups. So you go to arrows under the app symbols and choose a north arrow of choice. As you can see here, we have the SVG properties, so you can change the fill color, change it to a black. You can change placement, want mine to be in the middle. Make sure that it's synced with the map. So this is our map 1, and the north alignment is grid north. Okay, so now that we have done that, we are going to proceed to add a photo or an image. So an image can be a photo or a logo. So go to add picture. Right, raster image if you have it. So when you click on the ellipses, it takes you to your desktop, right? So it takes you to the folders in your desktop, and you have to navigate to the folder where your image is saved. QGIS training. There we go. Open. Right, and I am going to change my placement, put it in the middle. Maybe where everything is. I don't want to add a background, I don't want to add a frame. Okay, and then now we are going to add a label. So that is our title. Add item, add label, draw it in, give it a meaningful title. Right, change the font size, make it bold, make it bigger. Put in the center. That's our horizontal alignment, and our vertical alignment, put it in the middle. Add a frame around our title. Increase the thickness. You can increase the thickness as well to a sensible number. You can change the color of your frame. Add a background. White background will suffice. Okay, so now that we have done that, we are going to add a legend. Add item, add legend. Draw it in. So you have to toggle off auto update so that you can rename your legend, delete some layers if you want to. So if you want to rename a layer, this does not mean that the layer or the original layer's name gets to be changed. It's only going to change the layer's name here on the legend, on the map composer. So when you click on the layer and you click on that pencil icon, which is the edit icon, you get to change the name of the layer. So we can just name it rivers, lakes, center lines. Do the same with the populated places. Lastly, admin country lakes. Okay. And we are going to add a frame around our legend. And lastly, we already have a background. Okay, so remember, this is all basic. You can play around some more to change the fonts, increase the font of the item labels just to make them bigger. Okay, and you can also play around with the arrangement of the symbols, put them on your right, but for now I'll leave them on the left. Right, then lastly we are going to add a scale bar. Scale bar, draw it in. Alright, meters and kilometers. It makes sense. Increase the segments just to make it longer. Right. So here under units, you can change the label for units and the scale by units. You can also change the style of the scale by itself. But for now, we are going to leave everything as default, or in their default setting. Display. Alright, so let me quickly move around my map elements so that they are placed in a sensible manner. Right, now we are going to use the move item content tool and the maps item properties extents and scale to set your map extent and scale to just how you want it. So click the move item content so that I can move my map around. Right, I've already moved my scale and all the other elements, so I'm happy with that. So the last step, we are going to add a longitude or latitude reticule. So this is the grid to our map. So under our main map properties, when you scroll down just under the item properties for the map, you have the grids option. So when you open that, which is the drop down triangle, select or click on that plus sign, which is for adding a new grid. And then when you click on the grid, you can give it a name. We are going to name it according to the CRS that we are going to use. So this is this will be, we double click on that name. This will be grid 4326. Right, click on the grid, modify it, and we are going to use the EPSG 4326 coordinate reference system for this grid, and we are going to change our X and Y intervals. Let's say to a 5. Right. So you can also play around with the line style, change the color of the line, play around with the blend mode, and also the grid type. It can be a solid, can be cross, whichever option that you'll need on that particular day you're creating a map, or an option that will match your style. But for now, we are going to leave it as a solid grid type. You can also display the coordinates. So here on draw coordinates, if you switch that on, like tick it on, it displays the coordinates around your grid. So take it back off, we don't necessarily need that for now. And we are going to add a frame. So we've got different frame styles, as you can see. We've got the zebra all the way to line border, and you can change the thickness of the frame line. So we're just going to leave everything as default just for now, since I'm trying to show you where to access all these properties and how to change the map properties. So yeah, this is it for your this exercise. You can go ahead and export your map or save it as an image. So when you click here, you have export as a PDF, and you can also export it as an image.